Roseman's Week of June 11th featured Pastor Janz's opinion on spending foundation donations. Stu Witt updated the costs of the ISC and spoke about the Kern County Fire Department visit to the Spaceport. Steve Perez wants new pool equipment. Both Melcher's Rotary presidents talked about the International Convention in Bangkok, and Richard Skaggs showed off his solar car. Here in Roseman, a group of businesses have donated money to the Roseman Foundation to use for all parks and rec projects in Roseman. But we were horrified and shocked when certain members of the water board would not help the Little League. Turned them away. They wanted to buy paint, seed to fix up the fields at Glendower Park. Yeah. But these water board members said no. They want to spend the money on something else, just RCSD.
I just think that if community leaders have gone out and raised funds for the general community, and those people giving those funds had a desire for this or desire for that, included the Little League and included this and included that when those who are on the water board determine how to spend this money, they should certainly take that heavily into understanding, into context, and allow those smaller groups to take some of their fair share out of that. Because again, we're a community that tries to help each other. And we're a community that the funds that are there in the water board, if raised by the community itself for these various purposes, probably shouldn't be limited to such a small and limited spending here, spending there from the water board's own projects. They have these funds, as I understand, some of them still available, and it wouldn't probably hurt them to cut loose a few $1,000s. But that's just my personal opinion. I do believe that we have a responsibility when we raise funds to spend those funds in the way that people desired them spent when they gave them.
I did do an accounting last board meeting. There was a question on how much money does the district spend to host an event like the Intermediate Space Challenge. And this was a 2-day event, as it turned out, plus a setup day, and the total cost was $4,900.
For both days?
Both days. And that was less than I expected. Thank you, Erica. But I told you we'd keep track of that, and that's right about what we budgeted each year. So that seems to fall into the reasonable category. I certainly think we get the benefit from that. While the Intermediate Space Challenge was going on, I came down, did a few kickoff words, and then had to rush back up here and meet with the new Kern County Fire Chief, Brian Marshall, who spent 3 hours with us through lunch. Nobody was in a hurry, but we walked through. He's brand new to this site. He's been with the county for a number of years, but he's new to the chief position. And I really appreciate him coming over and spending 3 hours and not 15 minutes. But we walked through how to set up an event, how to host an event, how to respond during an event. And even while that event was going on, we went to different rocket test sites that were testing that day, watched test events like the F4s, which came into the middle of your event. And he saw the positioning of the trucks and the crews. Anyway, Brian and I had quite a bit of time together to walk through it. Today was yet another example. We were going to have a training day next week, which we still have planned. It'll involve FAA, NTSB, and a week-long desktop exercise. And we were going to have a pre-planning, but then we had a fire today, so everybody got to train for real today. But it works.
One thing that John Joyce had asked me about when we thought we might get the filters and pumps and stuff, and we're not sure yet exactly when they're going to come in, but we're going to be prepared to do a quick turnaround when they do come and try to minimize the downtime. Hopefully we can get it done in one day. John thinks we can do it in one day. But we have 2 reserved just in case, because you know how that goes. When you're planning on doing a 10-minute job, you might as well spend 2 weekends or something like that doing it. So we're going to be prepared when it comes.
I have presented the workout proposal with some what I believe to be fruitful ideas to maybe allow the district to satisfy its obligations to the bondholders as well as satisfy some concerns of the current property owners, and also to help resolve some of the lingering issues, financial, that the district has been faced with for quite a few years. So this workout basically lays out the procedures that are available under the 1915 Act, as well as some alternative procedures that are within the Streets and Highways Code that will allow the district to be a little bit more flexible maybe in its approach. And then it also includes some preliminary actions that I believe to be necessary in order for us to go forward with the workout plan. That was based upon my review of all the district documents. There were some small contradictions in various things that had occurred over the last 18 or so years. We need to clear that up so that everything is very, very much straightforward, that everyone in the community will understand what we're doing before we begin any procedures. And also there were some considerations of perhaps utilizing a portion of the funds presently in the improvement fund to perhaps give a credit to some of the very small property owners that are newly delinquent, in order for us to focus more time and energy on the more serious delinquencies, such as the ones that you mentioned, the vacant lots that remain without the community. So there are some preliminary actions that need to be taken, and with that I ask for authorization to proceed as outlined.
What you see in the background, that would be considered traditional Thai architecture.
They love their king and queen.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, the king has been
62
years.
I think it was 62 years on the throne.
And he's still alive. In his 20s.
Right at 20. He was right at 20 when he went on the throne. He's 87 now.
Every establishment has, if you've been at the Thai restaurant by Ramon, every establishment will have a picture of the king and queen, and there were huge billboards throughout the city, all throughout everywhere we went, with his picture on it. This is the stairs.
And all these steps are like this much. About that high. And then you can see in there, every once in a while, they come to an adjustment so that it's that high.
And here you can see what I'm talking about, that, you know, they have a little adjustment. So this will fall that way. And we're still climbing. And we made it to the top of this section. Now, on the other side of that, at the top, is another section that's going to continue following the ridge.
It looks steep in that picture, but it is. It's quite steep. You notice that this is the high-speed rail. You notice how clean it looks? Well, it's because every time it comes in the station, they got these washers.
They're out there with water and sprinklers.
So every time the train comes in the station, before it can leave, they have it all washed.
Here, Rosemond Rotarian Richard Skaggs has got a brand new Toyota Prius today, and he's showing me the solar panel on the roof. Look at that. Now, Richard, you're saying it's running the air conditioning?
It's running the coolant inside, so it keeps it cool.
Keeps the car cool while you're inside.
Especially out in the desert.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Now, this uses your product.
Yes, I use the D1280X. It's a small engine.
Uh-huh.
Put in there and all the movement parts.
Uh-huh.
And it's working really well.
So it lubricates
and it increased the mileage by 10%.
10%.
Yeah.
My gosh.
But even though you have electric, the batteries, but
Sure.
you run on the engine,
Sure.
you're getting that lubricity in there.
Oh, this is nice. 4-door.
Panels are the neat thing.
Yeah, look at this. Yeah, this is the hybrid energy drive. How many miles a gallon do you get on this? 50.